you have somebody within your own crew there that's actually doing the looking, or do you?
No, we don't really do that. We can't. We don't have the facility to do that. I publish my music through TuneCore,
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
and then I have another relationship with another company called Exploration Group out of LA. They are the ones that go out and monetize our video stuff. And also TuneCore does our publishing, our actual publishing, like getting royalties for radio play and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Yeah. The last musician I talked to was just, I think, working on this process when I was talking on the phone to set up the meeting. Yeah, she was just frustrated and tired from.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. And one thing I remember, we met a while ago. We were meeting about something I was thinking about pursuing, and you had also thought about pursuing. It might have been Patreon, I think.
Patreon, right?
Yep. And I think you passed on that. You didn't go down that road, right?
Actually, I went all the way down that road till the very end.
Okay.
And I spent so much time setting up my Patreon account. And in Patreon, you set up these levels of rewards, and you have to have artwork, and I did all of that, and I gave it great thought.
Yeah.
And when it got to the point of actually publishing the fact that I had a Patreon, I realized that it just wasn't in my nature to do that.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. Well, I guess you made the point I wanted to make about that, because you sat down, you actually gave me your notes.
I did,
which is very kind of you, even to take the time to meet me about it.
Oh, that's right.
And I noticed from looking at your notes, and I could figure out this is the way he does everything. You're very careful. You research everything. You took your time. You were intelligent about it, and you did all that work. But then in the end, you realized that wasn't the route you wanted to go. But you still went through you wouldn't have known unless you went through the process.
Yeah, that's good business.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good business practice to do research and make notes and be complete and think things through and all that stuff.
Right, because a lot of people want things just to happen. Like, I want to put my video up, and why don't I have 700,000 subscribers? Why am I not getting views? Well, figure out why. there's reasons why. Do it. And I say that, and my channel's very low, but I've been so focused on just creating the content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get to that stuff, but a lot of the videos I've been doing, I've found grant funding for them, so there's an income stream, and so that's like it's paying me to learn this craft and learn the art.
That's very cool, man. That's a whole area of study and expertise right there, isn't it?
Oh, the grants was that was a lot. I mean, hours and hours and hours, and I finally feel like I got it where I can actually do it pretty quickly now. And I've only been working with like one or two grants resources, but it's cool. I can go to a school, I can pitch an idea. They're like, "Well, that sounds expensive." Like, I can make it free.
Yeah,
it'll be free. You just got to fill out this. You got to do a couple steps, fill out paperwork, and then fill out a survey.
Nice.
I do the rest of the work. So. Yeah, that's been cool. And that's a first come, first serve grant, the one I've been using. So I stay up till midnight the day it opens, and I enter it at 12:01.
Good for you.
Right off prep. So if you're
that's good business.
Yep. If you get in early, you're going to get the grant. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to browse through my questions here, see if I didn't miss anything. Anything you want to add?
Well, it might be instructive to the people who end up watching this video to talk a little bit about YouTube.
Yeah.
And how to be successful on YouTube. Because that's something that I know something about.
That'd be great. Yeah.
And it has, connotations to other areas of study in the digital world. So that might be worth talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. So you probably put the same amount of research in the beginning into how to be successful at it, right?
Yeah. Enormous amounts of research and study. And, it became real clear to us early that the secret to YouTube was, well, of course, the real secret to YouTube is good content. But given good content, the secret to YouTube is keywords and the effective use of their system of tagging and descriptions and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a whole science to how you communicate to the YouTube algorithm, how you describe your content to the YouTube algorithm, so it can in turn suggest it to others. So we did a lot of research on how to effectively do that.
And so I think I remember you saying before, you for the tags you fill that, you put the maximum amount of characters, right?
We do.
For the tags, and it's, you just, do you think what people search for, or you're thinking more describing the music that you're playing, or you're thinking of the actual search that people will do?
Well, the whole thing about tags and descriptions and titles is, our approach at least, is to think about what people will be searching for. So if you look for saxophone instrumental music, for instance,
Yep.
you will find our music because we have specifically targeted that keyword.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, you know, a whole bunch of keywords that we've specifically targeted. But smooth jazz saxophone, I mean, we kind of dominate it, really.
Yeah, I would
I'm
say
proud
so.
to say, on YouTube, because we've had this long-term campaign to put. I think we have 330 videos ish now, and we've made this long-term campaign to provide content that can be described in those terms that we are hoping people will search for.
Right.
Smooth jazz saxophone, instrumental music for relaxation, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And you just kept just using the same keywords for every
Yeah,
video,
the same
right?
basic, like large keywords like saxophone instrumentals and smooth jazz, and then, you know, smaller kind of longer tail keywords that relate to those main keywords.
Right. And I've noticed too. In fact, I'm going to peek right now. I mean, you know the answer to this, but
What?
yeah, you are live right now.
I am?
Uh,
Oh, you mean my live streams on YouTube?
yeah, I mean it's always shows up as live, and
Yeah, we have 5 live streams going right now.
Okay, yeah, and that takes work and planning. Is it running a playlist or?
Did you say it was running a playlist?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, each one of those live streams has its own computer,
Okay.
and each one of those computers has they're all Macs, so they have an Apple Music or iTunes playlist that runs at random but repeated, 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Are those all there at your place right now, or are they elsewhere?
They're all in my closet.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, wow, I didn't know that. So, I mean, I knew you took it to a level of intensity, but I'm finding out it's even more than I thought. Yeah, that's not only investment of time, that's investment of capital and money, into what you want to do.
Yeah.
Five different computers, and just investment in instruments and equipment can be quite expensive. But it's everything I've heard from you shows that quality.
I was reading an article that's in my news feed right now. It was basically an article about the Sky professional cycling team. Mm-hmm. And they have this philosophy that can be described as incremental improvement, I think they call it. Like, if you can get a 1% improvement in everything you do, then that's really a huge improvement because there's so many elements to what you do. And so we just keep pressing and expanding our expertise a little bit all the time in all the areas that we're trying to excel in. Even today, I will be doing activities that will help me understand more how to be successful on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. So that's there's probably always new things to learn too. I mean, I don't know if the platform hasn't changed a whole lot, but you said you've been on it for like 5 years.
I think that's about right. 5 years. Well, there are things like noticing what you know. We have competitors on YouTube, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
We won't mention them.
uh, by the way, it's shocking to me how much really mediocre music there is on YouTube.
Yeah, we will.
Mine is not included in that category. But anyway, it's important for us to notice what is successful in the keyword areas that we try to market. So I study what they do. I study what images they use for their thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to their music and try to figure out how they do it.
Yeah, just pick apart anything that's successful. Not just, so you're talking about your competitors,
right?
Yep, yep.
Here's a good example. There's a competitor called BGM Music, and they're really wildly successful. I think they probably have 10 live streams going right now with 10,000 people listening to their live streams.
Wow.
And they do videos every day almost. Cafe BGM, I think they're called actually. Mm-hmm. But if you listen to their music, it's pretty simple. And it struck me one day that it's built around Band in the Box.
Oh, okay. So it's all that's the bet. Is it instrument play with it, or is it just Band in the Box?
Yeah, there are different things that they do, but I think there's like a keyboard player. He puts together these little Band in the Box songs and he plays over them. But they'll have like sax solos in their music, and it's a Band in the Box sax thing. And it sounds ridiculous to me.
Oh, it's that actual like the soloist in Band in the Box?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if you know how Band in the Box works, but
yeah,
it takes little snippets of things that the guys have played and put it together into a solo, and it sounds ridiculous.
I started using that 2000, a long time ago,
mm-hmm.
and it was really cool then because it was cool to use for lessons if you're trying to teach chord progressions. And it got way better, but it's still.
It's actually an amazing tool. And in fact, it inspired me to buy the product just to see what could be done with it. And I ended up doing a whole album of Latin tunes using Band in the Box. And I was really deeply impressed with how good it sounds.
Yeah, and you can do
if you know how to use it correctly.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like arranging. You need to know how to use it. But yeah, the sounds got way better over like the 5 or 6 years. I don't have it now. I haven't done it on this new Mac, but I use it for quite a bit.
Well, check this out. This is kind of getting down a side road, but they have what they call real tracks.
Yep.
And they've hired high professionals to record licks and chords and whatnot, including people like Jeff Lorber.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is? But he's an amazing star keyboard player in the smooth jazz world.
Okay, yeah, I don't know him, but I do know.
So yeah, it's an amazing product. I recommend it.
Yeah, I've used it quite a bit.
I endorse it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could even just do it. Maybe just find a drum sound in there that you like.
And if you're a composer and you want to, hear how something a chord progression sounds, or you want to make little changes and see how that sounds, it's an awesome tool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I use it for improvisation practice.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I put in chord like that was from Giant Steps. Like, what if I have a chord progression that changes key constantly?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to learn how to play over chords anyway. So I could do that in Band in a Box. I could make it insanely different keys.
Yeah.
But it's amazing if you actually follow even though it might not be in key, if you follow the progression with your, melody, It actually sounds good.
It does.
You got to follow. You're following the chord tones, but
Listen to this. Can you hear this? Oops.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's just a silly little song that I did, but I did a whole album of that stuff, and I was really impressed with it.
And that was Band in a Box, the instrument.
Band in the Box.
Yeah, it actually sounds like an instrument in the room. You can
It
hear
does.
you can hear the reverb and whatnot. And I know that like the guitar sounds and probably the sax and stuff. The keyboard sounds they got pretty good a while back, but it's the horns and the guitar or any string sounds can be a little rough sometimes. But that sounded good. That was yours playing the sax though, right? With that one, yeah. Well, I think we could go on forever on this avenue in your process with YouTube. You don't want to give out all your secrets though, right? Oh, I lost your audio, Mark. Your mic, yeah. I think when you switch to there we go.
Here we go. How's that?
Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Yeah, I lost it, sir. I don't mind giving out my secrets because even if you know everything that we do, to actually do it from scratch, forget it.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It's interesting too, because like a lot of people will say, well, like for my kid, he wants to make gamer YouTube videos.
Yep.
Like, well, if you sat down and you did the amount of work you do into anything you want to do, because how many the percent of the population is actually going to do that amount of work? And
10,000 hours.
Yeah. So to actually start it, do it, and finish it. Like usually the starting is the hard part, the finishing is the hard part.
Starting is definitely the hard part.
You'll be successful if you put the time in.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like in a small way convey some of those lessons. Like if he wants to do a video, I'll say, well, you got to sit there and type in all those tags in. And think of what people would search for your video. So plus it's good keyboard exercise and just computer knowledge and whatnot. But
yeah, we should linger on that for a moment, Dan.
Yeah, let's do it.
Presumably, students, music students, will be listening to this or hearing this, and the lesson here is that applying yourself consistently over long periods of time with passion and consistency is the secret to success in any endeavor. Did you write that down?
Yeah. I've taken notes because there's certain, as I write it down, there's certain like things I'll put up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Plus I think of something I want to say. Applying yourself and that incremental improvement, I think goes with that over long periods of time.
Yeah.
But there must have been, when you first started the channel, how long did it take you to get like a number of subscribers where you said, hey, this might work? Did it take a while? Were there moments of frustration or moments you were discouraged?
Well, honestly, at that time we were doing other things. We weren't actually trying to be successful on YouTube. We just kind of threw some stuff up there to see what would happen. And we were lucky in some ways because it was still a little early in the YouTube microcosm or macrocosm, I guess you'd say. There wasn't a lot of smooth jazz available. And without knowing it, we were intelligent about it. And so when we reached 100,000 subscribers, we thought, wow, how'd that happen?
Yeah, okay.
Probably before that we realized something was happening, but anyhow, it was one of these incremental algorithmic takeoffs too. We were like this for a while, and then we just started going like that.
Yeah, that's part of the natural from the algorithm. It'll start bumping up like that, right? Once you The reason I ask that is because to have the success, there might be moments where you are discouraged. You're like going, is this work worth it? But if you stick with it, I mean, nothing's going to happen right away, and you just need to keep building on the previous day's success and keep moving forward if that's what you want to do.
Well, and that's a good point right there, Dan. It's important to find that thing in life that you are here to do, the thing that you can do every day for 10 or 12 hours and not notice the passage of time, the thing that when you do it, your heart sings. Then you can do it, for years every day and still be thrilled with it.
Yep.
Because that's what you're here to do. If you pick the wrong thing, then
it's easy to do.
Good luck.
Yeah, I got I don't know if I got lucky, but I guess the whatever that thing sometimes comes calling to you too.
Luck has a lot to do with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess I don't say I got lucky, but I was lucky enough as a kid to say I think I want to learn guitar.
Yeah.
My dad, who loved like Stevie Ray Vaughan and all the '70s guitar players.
Yeah.
Alvin Lee and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Nice. That was lucky.
Yeah, and he took me to I had 2 lessons a week because there were one teacher was backed up. I was on his waiting list and went somewhere else, and then he became open. So he's like, well, let's go to both each week.
Mm-hmm.
And having those 2 perspectives and somebody who would take me.
Nice, yeah.
and pay for it,
Yeah.
Was good. Well, anything else on the YouTube front you want to share?
No, I think we've covered that.
Well, let me ask one question. So we've been talking about all the work you've been doing, but if you say to manage your, and you don't have to tell this if you want, but to manage that whole, just the YouTube part, like do you have an estimate of how many hours a week you might spend on that? Like,
well, it depends. If I don't do anything but like maintain it, then it's just really a few hours a week,
right?
Because it's rolling pretty well on its own. But to stoke it, we have to make new videos, and we have to study what our competitors do, and we have to make new music.
Yep.
And of course, those are completely dominating, life-consuming activities.
Yeah.
So somewhere between 2 hours and 100.
Right. Yeah, it makes
depending
sense.
on the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm still in that phase where I don't know exactly, like I would like to have some kind of outlet like YouTube where I can share content. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, I'm a guitar player, but there's so many things just with guitar I could do as a focus. But I also like doing things like this. And I've spent hours and hours and hours talking to people doing these, and this is these aren't grant funded. These are just it's just time, and plus especially during the pandemic, I've got to keep up with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And chat. I have one last question for you, if you have time for that. We might have.
Sorry, Dan, I'm out of time.
Aside from the music and everything, what are some things you like to do, with some hobbies or interests when you're not doing music or content?
Well, my other main activity in life is hanging out with my wife, Roberta, because she's the center of my heart and my spirit. And so, whatever she's got going that she needs me to do, that's my hobby, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, you're happy to do it, right?
Yeah.
Brings you pleasure.
Like home improvement projects, for instance.
Yeah. Those never end.
Those never end.
Yep, those never end. Nothing like you're not any weird. Like I know John Churchville was a professional BMX racer. That was one thing that I thought was weird about that he did.
That's right. I forgot about that about him.
But nothing. You're not like a cliff diver or anything like that on the side.
No, I'm not a cliff diver. I do love to ride bikes, ride my bicycle in good weather. And I have a, like a Peloton style bike here in the house that I ride during the winter. But I don't have any hobbies like throwing pottery or raising rabbits or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you. It sounds like when we were different in ways, but like a lot of our hobbies that we normally would have, we've made those into a career, and it's still enjoyable, and it still presents challenges constantly. So there's not a lot of time to go seeking other things, and then the other main thing in our life is to take care of our loved ones and make sure everybody's safe.
That's pretty much it.
Yep. And all the light bulbs are working and everything,
Yeah, right.
Everything they need is working. Yeah. Same here. Pretty much my day is doing things for family, and then in my spare time, I just like to stay busy.
Yeah.
I try to work as smart as you do. I'm not always as successful as that, but I continue to work. So, I think that was it.
I do love to play the guitar.
Yeah.
As a hobby, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I rarely record myself playing the guitar, but I do love to play the guitar. So
that is a fun one. Is that your favorite one back there, the Strat? Is that a Strat?
That is a Strat, but that's not my favorite one. I recently, in fact, my wife and son-in-law bought me a Taylor acoustic guitar. I think it's a CE. But it's just an awesome, beautiful, luscious, resonant instrument. I love it.
Yeah, the Taylor is my favorite. I have the Martin down here. The Taylor's upstairs.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've been teaching. I teach a lot online, but I've been teaching a few in-person students. So I have this space upstairs where we can spread out pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting just for right now.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of instruments upstairs, but the Taylor's upstairs, and I play that every day.
Nice.
Yep.
Hey, have you considered interviewing yourself?
Interviewing myself?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to hear you answer your own questions.
Well, I did like episode 11. I did one of the people I interviewed. We did a flip the script interview. He asked me questions.
Oh, really?
But it wasn't my own questions. He got to pick the questions.
You should consider that, Dan. You should have yourself in 2 different outfits.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll try. Oh, I did want to say this. I'd like to thank Mark for joining me here today, and I'd like to thank our sponsor, The North. The North is up. North is good. If you're feeling down and need somewhere to go north. I'm gonna make a fake sponsor for some of these.
I like it.
Which is just North. Just go North. Mm-hmm. It's not a real sponsor.
I like it.
With a commercial and everything. So,
yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time to join me. We're at about an hour. Unless there's anything else you want to add, I'm gonna stop the record.
I'm completely honored that you allowed me to do this with you, Dan. And I hope you'll call on me if I can ever be of service to you in any way.
Oh, I will. And like I said, we could have talked for hours and hours. I could have mined you for your wisdom, but this is enough for me to handle right now.
Okay.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mark Maxwell, aka Dr. Saxlove. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I created my smooth jazz version of the Game of Thrones theme song. It's pretty interesting, so stick around. So I came up with the idea of doing a smooth jazz version of the Game of Thrones theme song quite serendipitously one evening about 3 weeks ago. I had no idea how it was going to sound, and I just kind of jumped in it, and I decided to video it so I could share with you the creation process. I hope you enjoy it. Here goes.
So what I'm doing here is a Google search for the sheet music for Game of Thrones. Here's one that's interesting. It's just the basic melody. That's really all I need. So I'll go ahead and download this and go from there. So the next thing I'm going to do is listen to the song itself. which I've already heard 1,000 times, but what I want to do is pick out the parts that are important, that I want to preserve. Obviously, we have to preserve the melody. But the question to me is, how much of the background, or what elements in the background do we want to preserve? That happens throughout the song. How important is that really? Well, it's probably really important, but those are the kind of decisions I need to make. So I use a program called Digital Performer to create music, and here's the basic screen. These are all the tracks that, well, this is a little template that I put together. Got all these tracks that I can use at some point. On this song, the place I'm going to start is with this virtual instrument, which is called Stylus RMX. And basically what this is a drums and groove generator. All right, so I've found a beat I like. I have a collection of beats called Backbeat. This one, called LA Shuffle, I think will do. Here it is. See, it just fits just right. So I've got this groove going that I like. And I'm going to play a flute part over that. So here we go. All right, that was okay. Now I'm going to play another flute part on top of that. And now I'm going to add some percussion. This is an African log instrument I have, and it kind of sounds like this. Kind of a nice tribal feel to it. So I'll clean that up and maybe add some more percussion. All right, so I've added a keyboard part and another percussion part, a little shaker part, and I've got something that is kind of taking form here. I'm liking it very much, so I'm going to quit for this evening, maybe go watch some TV with my wife. Here's what we've got so far. All right, since the last time, I have kind of developed the themes that we started with the other night in terms of the kind of revolving 3-against-2 rhythm, the piano parts and the flute parts. And so I came up with this verse here. Kind of continuation of that keyboard part. Added some strings. So down here. Here's another verse. And some background flutes. Comes the bridge section. So these are all parts that I've just kind of made up as I've gone along. They're very similar to a lot of parts that I've done on a lot of other songs. But they sound nice. The end of the melody, just kind of vamping on this theme right here. And that's it. We've got 2 minutes and 14 seconds done of this little version. And that's all for tonight. Well, okay, I got up at 5 o'clock this morning and started working on this song. I don't know if you can see in the background, it's snowing quite nicely here in Ann Arbor. So what I did today was I started refining this chorus section. Let me play that for you real quickly here. I added this little choir part that plays the melody. Okay. I added this vamp section after that chorus section. This will be for sax soloing. And of course, along the way, I've been kind of massaging the keyboard and bass parts. You see this little part right here? These little parts? These are kind of synthesized, interesting parts. For instance, this one is a backward tape loop thing. It sounds kind of cool. I just add these in for a little spice. Here you can see how they sound here. I like those sounds. I'm not sure I'll leave them in there, but I like them. So this will all be sax soloing. And I also kind of completed the form. After that sax solo vamp, we go back to the verse. And here's how we end it. Very simply with a C minor 9 chord. I added this little gong thing here. Took me about an hour to find that. All right, that's what we got today. We're looking pretty good. We got a 5-minute version of the Game of Thrones theme song. I think what I'll probably do next is add some guitar, and then we'll be ready for sax, and we'll be looking good. So today I've spent the pretty much all day fine-tuning this song. I did a lot of other small things. I fine-tooth combed the bass and piano parts so that they're perfect and they click together really well. I spent some time doing things like putting these panning instructions on these parts so they move back and forth in the pan as we listen to them. I also recorded these little lines right here. One is what I call a whistle part, and then there's this little transition part. Let me play those for you real quickly here. This little whistle part right here. Those two elements really make this thing sound a little bit more smooth jazz-ish. Not that it's not already sounding kind of smooth jazz-ish. Here's another whistle part. Little contrapuntal whistle. That's actually a synth part, it's not a whistle part. Anyway, spent about, 6 hours today doing all that. Now, this evening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record some guitar parts. So I'm going to try to layer in maybe 3 or 4 different guitar parts and see how they sound. So I'll check back with you after I do that.
All right, at this point, I've got a couple of guitar parts that I like. Here's a quick sample in the intro. You can hear a guitar part on either side, both left and right. See him right down here. Here's how it ends. All right, I guess with that, I've got a fully formed play-along, as it were, and time to add some sax. All right, since I last reported, I've done a lot of work on the song. I've completed the saxophone parts. You can see those down here in green. I have endlessly tinkered with a lot of these parts, kind of obsessively tinkered with them, like the upright bass part and the drum parts and all these other parts. Anyway, here is how it's sounding at this point. From the beginning. Oops. Oh yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? Here's the verse. Here's the chorus. 3 saxophones. Oh, I like that. So almost done with this project. I just have to mix it and master it. Then I'll be ready to publish it. I'll be making a play-along version of it, of course. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll probably come back and do one more video after it's all done, just to say goodbye. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my smooth jazz version of the Game of Thrones theme song. Like I said, it took me about 3 weeks from start to finish to do this project. I didn't work on it every day, but I did do a lot of work. One thing that you don't see, that I don't share with you, is the obsessive amount of tinkering I do with the parts. I just can't help myself sometimes. Anyway, that's it. If you have any questions or comments, share them with me. I'll get right back to them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.